Sometime today sometime today, I placed myself on mute so that I could break up the first hour to the second hour, and then as I was walking through the steps inside of StreamYard, I was on mute. And I've done this before on other events, and I want to be able to learn to be comfortable with doing a voiceover so that I don't have to or I have the option of just doing a voiceover. So I know that people do this successfully. It's kind of frustrating when you know that you've been saying things and maybe the way that you said it, you knew that maybe you did a good job, and then you realize that you were on mute the entire time. It takes a little bit of your soul away. And so what I'm going to be doing now is we're just going to give it a try. At least I can voice over the bits and pieces, and I can learn from it too as to how I want to go through the steps by repeating, different ways that we might be able to do it. Because it was great the first time, and I don't think sometimes I don't believe that it can be great the second time. So we're just going to give it a try. And the way that one would set this up, it's very clever. I've opened up another StreamYard window, and we will see that right now. This is inside of the StreamYard studio and where one starts to create their stream. So we have a timestamp of where this is on the original video. It's at 1 hour, 5 minutes, and 36 seconds. So I took a nice 5 minute break. It was the perfect thing for me to do. I was ready to roll, and boom, I was on mute. So let's on three, two, one, figure out how this would actually go. And we're going to let it run. So let me kind of do a pre understanding here. So I'm in my StreamYard. Okay, there we go. All right, we're starting at 1 minute, 1 hour, 5 minutes, 36 seconds. And on three, two, one, here we go. So here we are at the StreamYard studio inside of streams and recordings, and we are going to create. That's the blue area where it says plus and create, and there you go. You'll see my actual cursor there, and I'm explaining that it's about the upcoming and the past and the prior, the event that we're in right now when we were recording, and how one would navigate through there, and then we hit create. We're going to create a live stream. And this is the way that you start to build up your thumbnail. You are going to select the YouTube destination. And what I do here is I simply put period marks on the title and the description so that we can roll along fine. I'm not spending too much time defining what my title and description will be. This will be a public stream. We're scheduling it for later. This is another must. It will allow for you to build the thumbnail from there, and we select our date, and this event will be tomorrow. This is good for me to do anyway because it shows you that we are doing an event tomorrow at 9:55 a.m. And there's two selections. You can upload a thumbnail from your art archives, or you can create with AI. And you'll see that I'm about to do that, so we will go into the builder in just a moment. There we go. Create with AI is the selection, not create with Livestream. Create with AI. Immediately, we're in the creation window, and it takes you to a default. We talked a lot about color today, so you understand that this is kind of the Dodger blue, web safe blue. It's very common throughout the internet to see Dodger blue, and I'm going through what you would see in the very first layout, which is a gradient from the darker to the lighter of the Dodger blue, and of course there's my period marker that acts as the title. And I do the period marker for myself too, so that I can actually see the fullness of the thumbnail without all of the other elements yet, including the profile pictures and all of your text. Here's the third layout, which is the angled layout. And it's on a black background. It's absolutely gorgeous. I've seen this in the wild, and it's very, very pretty. Here we go into the fourth layout, and it goes into the complementary of the blue, talking more about the color so that we understand where this other pinky mauve color comes from. And then the maximum of two also takes you to this orb on orb layout. We talk a little bit more about how the color is arrived. Once again, we're keeping that period marker so that we can see the entire the graphic part of the thumbnail. And then the last one is a text only, quite a departure from the other ones in that it's giving us this wonderful ribbon. Once again, this is very common in the wild now. Here we go with the show date and time. It will pick up from the scheduler. So this gives you a chance to make sure that your scheduler is in good stead and, double checking your times and dates is always good. I do have a tendency to take the show date and time. I'm not so crazy about that particular formatting, but it's super useful, and you'll see even on the channel that I do use it. But in this case, we are leaving it off. And now by taking the title off, actually, what I'm doing is I'm explaining to you that you can take a screenshot of just the graphic. We're adding now the pictures of you and your guests. And you can see that I have a little passel of pictures that I've chosen. I have a Highland steer and a snowflake, Andy Warhol, the Etsy logo, and you can see we've loaded them all up. That's the four up, and that's how they would appear depending on your sizes, and you can remodel them, putting them left to right. Um, on a horizontal plane, you're moving them left to right. And depending on the layout that you choose, you're either going to get all four or two. And you'll get a little warning that you're only able to select the two. So once again, I think I go through a couple of different ideas. It's not scrolled up high enough for you to see all my fiddling, but I'm just running through what the products look like and what um, pictures I already have in my little library, referring back again to the period marker and where it sits once you can see that the sizes that I'm using are a little unusual up against what would be a profile picture. I know that you can't go below 300 by 300 pixels, and I don't know you know, what the big fatty is, but I'm very happy with the fact that we can bring over larger imagery so that you can really start adding some dynamic um, layouts for yourself. And I think I'm maybe going to go into the colors right now. And we're going to be probably redoing the colors a little bit. So I don't know exactly what I'm doing here, but we're lardy-dar. I should note that we have profile pictures, graphics, logos, etc. in my library right now. So we'll just wait because we're working on um, the 90s kid layout and talking about the CEO of Etsy. So I found his profile picture, I brought it in, it removed the background, and it added the highlight and threw him up onto the layout. Those are all steps that you do not have to take. Those were auto steps. Super smart in that way. So now we have the CEO and the Etsy logo, and now we're about to work on the title. So I do go to AI for most of my Etsy work right now. How do you start a shop? What should your message be? How do you write a proper script and a description? And tell me more about, um, they call them they're not lifestyle tags. They're called like life event tags or something. So I'm learning all this other different lingo when it comes to e-commerce using Etsy. So yeah, we're looking at what should we call it, and I kind of like this. I'm probably going to go back into the color though and play around with the color a little bit. So here we go, but you can see layout 1, 2, 3. We're on the fourth layout that allows 3 pictures, and it's this simple left to right wave, horizontal wave pattern with all of the ombre and gradients going on. Super pretty. It looks like I'm about taking my cursor, and probably here comes the title, Etsy's Secret Weapon, Unpacking the CEO's Strategy. And that is totally, absolutely 100% from AI. So we will see what I end up doing here now that we have our title in. I think I'm trying to figure out what else I might want to put up on there. Should I add more? What should I be doing? I know that I want to talk about the thumbnails, reminding everyone there that where the colors come from the 90s kid, which is over at the Etsy's Persona carousel. So the 90s kid orange is F1641D, and the blue is 7BB9DD. And here we go. So I have decided to put the orange in, that's the F1641D. And I believe I'm going to be running through the layouts to see which one will pick up, well, I was hoping that it would pick up the blue, and you're going to be surprised in just a moment that it does indeed pick up the blue of the 90s kid persona block over on Etsy's gift mode. So let's see what I end up doing here. I know I'm saying all this cool stuff, but because the cursor's going outside and over, and we're visiting the AI and my chat and Gemini, and so I know that the cursor is telling me that I'm all over the place. Probably need to stop that. Let's make sure about our. Okay, so now we're going to be bringing up the blue, the 7BB90D, and I did that over on the StreamYard branding, just so that we could be reminded maybe where it could go. Working with the layout 1, layout 2, layout 3, layout 4, and here's the magical one. Yes, this is the one that we would end up going with a simple modification on the title, I believe, so that we could get our thumbnail creation part in there. And where are we on time? Let's see. We are at 1:16:44. 1:16:44. So at some moment in this, I realize that we have sound, and I just don't know where it is. There we go. There it is. At 1:17:03, we now have sound. It's been returned. And where do I have 1:17:03? Let me hide that, and we will start and then stop at 1. Go back to the StreamYard. 1:17:03. 1:17:03. Okay, there we go. All right, and then from this point on, go ahead and I didn't ask for it to play the sound, but we could hear the sound. So I'm not too sure. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing. We will stop sharing. go ahead and X out of our studio and come back over here and let me get myself up here. Okay, so that's what it is. We'll give myself a reminder that we did a voiceover starting at 105:36 and stopped it at 117:03. And I'm sorry, that is 12 minutes that mommy does not have to walk you through the thumbnails. We should be able to walk you through creating of a thumbnail in probably 3 minutes. So we may want to take a listen back to how Dan Briggs, how he shared um, the thumbnail setup, and maybe even take a look at the script on how he did it, because he did not take 12 minutes, and that's what we need to lower that down quite a bit. Okay, so that's where it is, the instant live. Oof. Okay, but at least we have it. So it'll be in the YouTube. We do have it. It's too long, but we'll get through it. We'll make it a lot better, but at least we do have it. So thank you so much. And I will talk to everyone soon. Bye bye now.